Welcome to another episode of Technical Earth Syndicate, Commander Shepard's favorite podcast on the Citadel. I'm Michael Buffington.
I'm Chris Stewart.
And this is episode 31 for September 29th, 2030. Awesome! Well, we are finally back after a uncontrollable hiatus, I want to say. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we've both been pretty busy the last couple months.
Yeah. Well, what have you been up to, man?
Oh, man. Been so busy.
Busy?
Pretty much with work. Been working a lot and getting ready for this baby to arrive.
Oh, yeah, a baby.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. You're pregos.
I am.
How many weeks are you, Chris?
About 97.
97.
Yeah, it's starting to show a little bit.
No, I mean, seriously, though, how many weeks is your wife?
She's somewhere around 30-something.
Awesome.
I don't know how many weeks. She's got about 2 months left, getting ready to pop.
November, right?
Yeah. Yep, November 20th is the due date.
And you did find out you're going to have a boy. I don't know if
is.
we said that on the last podcast. We might have, but
I don't
just
think
in
we
case.
did. I think the last thing you even mentioned of it was on our little video deal with Heath from First World Podcast. And at that time, we didn't know what it was yet. But yes,
right.
It is a boy. Pretty excited about it.
Yeah, so you can corrupt them with video games and other stuff and cool shirts, like Mass Effect shirts and you name it.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about buying all kinds of cool toys, Nerf weapons and what have you.
Anything been going on? You've been playing anything?
Yeah, I've been playing a few games. Been pretty obsessed with Final Fantasy 14, and I think you have too.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
We also picked up Grand Theft Auto recently. Been playing that hardcore. I already beat it. I don't know how far you're on it, Chris, but I'm pretty.
I think
sure
I'm at like 41% right now, according to the little save stuff.
And if you've been doing everything, you probably still have a lot of storyline left.
Yeah.
It's a pretty long game.
Yeah, I'm hoping to finish it probably this weekend so I can get back to Final Fantasy.
Yeah. I kind of have a long list of what I've been kind of doing since we haven't recorded in almost 2 months. We did a little thing for Alan's birthday, which was kind of cool. It's on YouTube, by the way, if you guys want to check that out. But I beat a few different games. I beat Remember Me, which is that cyberpunk game back at the end of July. That was like at the last. That was either right before we recorded or right after we recorded. I beat that. That was a great game. I actually started doing outdoor activities. I went hiking before Idaho's forest started burning down. That was in August, which was really cool. And I managed to get a cool. This is something that people might appreciate. My dad sent me for my birthday a full copy of Grim Fandango, still in its box.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that you saw that.
Yeah,
But yeah, man, like, other than that, it's been Final Fantasy 14 nonstop for the past 2 months now, I want to say. They did the beta, and then we've been playing the beta and then early access, and then just been playing that just nonstop.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it. It's been a long time since I played an MMO that I wanted to pay the monthly fee for, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I already hit level 50 on my Paladin, and I'm working on some other classes and crafting classes. So,
yeah.
I know you're what, like 30 something right now?
Yeah, I think I just hit 31 or 32 or something like that. I'm playing catch up, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, and then I also went to Comic-Con, Salt Lake City Comic-Con. So I did a lot of cool stuff. That was fun. That was really fun.
Yeah, I saw those pictures. You're meeting all those awesome actors and stuff. I'm pretty jealous.
Yeah, I met Shatner. That was cool.
Yeah.
Got a picture of Grandpa Shatner. Maybe I'll put it on our YouTube right now. You guys would be looking at it, be like, "What the heck?" But yeah, it was a blast at Comic-Con. We went with the family. I wouldn't recommend bringing a kid to that, just because when you're going to all the panels and everything for Comic-Con, and you're wanting to hear all the actors talk about their life and their careers and everything like that, which is really cool. But Kids think that's boring, apparently. But it was fun seeing all the costumes. People really, really went all out, and that was actually the first Comic-Con in Salt Lake ever. It was the first one, and there were almost 80,000 people there.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was
Salt
fun,
Lake's
though.
a pretty big city, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty big, and the closest one to us, I think, is San Francisco, I believe. Other Comic-Cons before this one showed up, so... And that was earlier.
Is this like a legit Comic-Con, like San Diego in New York, or is it? Yeah,
this is a legit Comic-Con, dude.
Huh? Because I've seen other cons that they use the Comic-Con name, but they're not like official Comic-Con. So
yeah,
this like bootleg.
This was kind of not the official, and then it turned into the official. Huh. Yeah, so they got a lot of famous people. Adam West was there, Shatner. It was really cool. That was the last big thing I really did. Other than that, I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 and GTA and everything like that. I know you've been doing the same pretty much, but
yeah.
Overview of the show, we're going to be talking about Valve and Steam. Go figure. That should be pretty fun. It's going to be talking about the SteamOS, Steambox, and something special that they just announced on this past week. So stay tuned for that. And also, we're going to be talking about technology and how people use it on Alan's Tech Corner. So that's going to be pretty fun. We aren't doing music like we were going to try to do last time. I think we tried that a few months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We're not going to be doing that. I just haven't had time to contact any other people for their music. So we'll try to do that later on down the line. But that's pretty much all it's going to be discussed. It's going to take up majority of the episode because we have a lot of information on Valve on what they're doing. All right, on today's topic attack, we're talking about Steam and
no way.
Valve. Yes. Everyone knows we're fanboys. I'm not afraid to admit that. Don't tell me I'm wrong. Screw you, man.
Oh. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I've been with Valve since Half-Life 1 came out. So I mean, I love the studio, and I love what they've done with all their games and their everything like that. So I'm a fanboy. Anyway, they just announced they had 3 big announcements this past week, and one of them was SteamOS. What's that? A Steam operating system? Yes, it's pretty cool. No, they revealed that. This is basically last year they talked about coming out with the Steam box, and a hardware-driven unit to play like a console, but not really a console, still a computer. But they said it was going to be Linux-based, and so this SteamOS, that's what it's called, is Linux-based. It's going to be really, really neat because it has in-home streaming. You can play your Windows and Mac games directly to your SteamOS machine. So your Valve box or whatever they're going to be calling it. You can stream it from your PC, which is really cool. So, there's a lot of Linux games out there, but there's still not a ton, right?
Yeah.
And giving you the option to stream it over your home network gives you, more options to play on your TV. You don't have to worry about it. And so your badass PC can still be utilized, and not only just the Steam box, but with, you can go back over to it and play a game on there. And if you want to play a Steam game on your TV, you can play it over there. It doesn't matter. So if I want to play, what's a good game that would never be on a Linux-based system? Oh, a Microsoft game. Which that's a funny discussion. Maybe we can talk about that next time. But just some of the games, like maybe even Ubisoft games and stuff like that, they're not going to be porting their games over to Linux because they barely even do a good job porting them over to PC. So you can still stream them over to your TV, which is going to be a big feature for me, honestly, with the SteamOS. I mean, and it's just going to be great. They're planning on, with the SteamOS as well, doing the same thing that you might have with what's it called? Just any entertainment box like Apple TV, the Google TV boxes or whatever.
Roku, stuff like that.
Roku, yeah. They're going to be putting music and TV and movie apps on there. So Netflix and Hulu and who knows what else they partner up with. They could put anything on there. But I'm guessing they're going to try to put their own media source on there as well. Maybe like a Steam movies or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they also have another feature called family sharing, which I'm in the beta currently for this, so I did get a chance to try it out. And if you have multiple members of your family that don't want to buy 2 copies of a game just to play it on a computer, you can actually share your profile with them on either another computer or the same computer, and they can log in with their account and play your games. Like my wife can play Skyrim and earn her own achievements now and still use all of my DLC and the game. So it's a pretty neat feature, honestly.
Does it do the DLC too? I thought I read that
yes,
that you still had to pay for the DLC.
No, it still does the DLC. It shows up on her profile. She has the DLC.
That's pretty cool.
With me sharing it, because I mean, consoles have had this for how long? Since Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 came out, they started really doing if you have 2 profiles on an account, like on a PS3 account or whatever, I download a digital copy of a game, my wife can still play it on there. So they've been doing this for a while. I've been wanting this for Steam for so long now because I don't want to buy 2 copies of a game, unless we're playing a multiplayer game like Left 4 Dead or something like that.
Yeah, stuff like that, you're still going to have to buy 2 copies of it.
Right, and adding that feature onto the Steam box as well as the Steam accounts for Windows or Mac, it's really cool, honestly.
Yeah.
You can still get into the beta with that. You have to like the family sharing group but join the family sharing group on Steam. So if you don't know how to join a group, you might want to look into that, definitely. They have the information on their Steam accounts and everything like that. But yeah, there's also going to be family options. There's going to be 3,000 plus games to stream also that are on Steam right now. There might be even more. Probably, I don't know. Does 3,000 sound about right?
I think it's probably more than that.
Yeah, it has to be. But I think, but they said like 3,000 games are going to be able to be streamed, and also apps, like developing apps such as music stuff, or the RPG Maker we have, that could actually be streamed to our TVs. That would be kind of weird though. But still, it could work.
Yeah. But yeah, everything that's in the Steam catalog can be streamed over there, and even stuff that isn't officially in Steam, like say like Final Fantasy 14, for example, we could stream that. Like any Windows game can also be streamed to it.
NVIDIA Shield just did that recently with their at a non-Steam game, you were able to still stream Final Fantasy directly to your computer. I mean, it makes sense because it's connected to your PC, the NVIDIA streaming thing, but it's still pretty cool. And whatever Valve's doing, you'll be able to do that as well. So pretty neat. Chris, why don't you go ahead and go into the next topic that they announced, or the next announcement that they announced. What was it called?
It was called Steam Machines.
So it's not called a Steam box, right?
Yeah, officially it's called Steam Machines, and it's kind of interesting the way they're going about it. I think last year they mentioned that they were working with Piston, or is that the name of the company? Or
it's the name of the computer that they're making, but
those tiny little computer things.
The company that made that Piston, though, apparently Valve was supporting of it, and then they broke off from it. Piston had nothing to do with Valve.
Yeah, they're kind of back and forth on that, I think. But anyway, they're working with several different manufacturing companies to put together Steam machines that you'll be able to buy through whichever company you're deciding to go with.
Right.
But either way,
Third-party
it's going to be
companies.
third-party companies. It's not going to be directly through Valve, I don't think.
Mm.
But all of these machines that they're going to be put together, they're going to become prepackaged with the SteamOS. And so, and just like any other computer, it's going to be completely open and moddable. And so, pretty much anything that you're going to want to do with it, you'll be able to do, no problems.
Oh, I did forget to mention SteamOS is going to be completely free to everyone since it's Linux based. So that kind of comes into factor. So any company that wants to make a Steam machine can, and they can use the OS for free. So.
Right. And like going along with that, you can pretty much either buy a pre-built system, like we said, or if you have your own computer that can run all kinds of cool stuff, you can build like a kind of a low end little mini computer sort of thing, and then just kind of have that in your living room for only streaming purposes, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing.
Yeah, you could hook a laptop up to your TV and use the streaming feature of the of SteamOS and stream your computer over to the TV. I mean, that would work too. So.
Yeah. But what is really cool and what I'm pretty excited about is Valve is going to be shipping 300 prototype units to any Steam users for testing, completely free. And all you have to do is take part in the eligibility quest.
A quest. That's right.
It's a quest. That's what they're calling it.
You're going on a goddamn quest.
Yep. So anytime before October 25th, you're going to want to log into Steam and then go on your quest page. Is it a quest
badges?
page? I think it's
it's
your badges.
If you know what badges are on Steam, they tell you if you click your Steam profile, it has badges on there. It's basically to earn a badge, you have to complete different things or do the trading cards or whatever. Some of them you can do different steps and you'll get a badge. They want you to earn the badge. That's basically your quest, and you have to do certain things to earn that badge. So
it's not even hard either. You can do it in just a couple minutes. So you do that. You find the Steam Universe community group, and you join that group. And then you're going to have to agree to the hardware beta terms and conditions.
And then you sign up and put your address in and your phone number and all that kind of good stuff.
And if you don't already have 10 friends in your friends list, you got to have 10 friends. And I think that's supposed to combat against people making a whole bunch of accounts and trying to make a whole bunch of entries for
trying to play the system, basically.
Yeah, basically. You're going to have to create a public Steam community profile, which most of you probably already have one. And then you're going to have to play a game using a gamepad in the big picture mode. But you don't even have to sit there and actually play a game for a set amount of time. Just turn the big picture mode on.
You have to have a controller, though. A lot of people are kind of upset by this because they don't have controllers. And us that are interested in Steam Big Picture and also the SteamOS, we definitely have a controller already. It's usually a 360 controller. So use that, definitely.
Yeah.
But after that, you'll get a badge.
Yep. And that's pretty much all you got to do.
Yep.
Now, the way they're doing it is, I think they said 30 of these units are going to be sent out to people who have been taking place in a lot of betas and are pretty involved in the community with like modding and stuff like that. And then the rest of them are going to be at random. So if you're somebody who makes a lot of mods and you're doing a lot of the betas, you got a pretty high chance of getting one.
Yep. But it's pretty much going to be random for the most part, and random people will get it, and then I guess they'll be sending it out to developers as well and stuff like that. That's like guaranteed right there.
And what's really cool is they don't have any kind of what's it called, where you can't talk about it on podcasts and stuff like that. They don't have that. You're able to do whatever you want to do. You can make videos and talk about it on, your podcast if you got one. So hopefully, one of us will be able to get one and we can do a little review on it.
I highly doubt that, but that's going to be pretty cool. They did allude that the Steam machines are going to be, after October 25th, that's the end of the beta sign up, they're going to be shipping them out before 2014. And these models of these prototypes are going to come with a controller. The controller is the next thing we're going to talk about, but is just going to be it's just going to be a regular. It's going to be a Steam controller, but it's going to be a little bit different. It's a prototype of that as well.
Yeah.
But they're going to be releasing the OS as well soon, so we'll all get to try that, and that'll be neat as well. So, but I don't know, like a lot of people are thinking that this is going to be a new console killer and stuff like that, and it's more of an extension of the PC, especially with the streaming. I want everyone to realize that Steam is trying something new, but they're also not trying to do away with console gaming for PC gaming or anything like that. If you're still a PC game user, it's more of just an extension.
Yeah.
So
basically, they're just trying to get Steam into the living room, and that's what a lot of people want. That's what, no, that's what I'm doing right now. I got my PC set up in the living room.
Yeah. So some people like controllers better than keyboard and mouse. Some people like keyboard and mouse. I like both. So it's kind of a mixed thing. So next up we have the Steam controller they announced, which I guessed that, man, after they started talking about the Steam machine. I was like, they have to show off this controller that they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm gonna post some pictures on our YouTube podcast feed so you guys can see it while we're talking about it. But it's going to have dual trackpads on it, which that sounds kind of bad, but it's actually really cool.
Yeah, the first thing you think of is like a crappy, laptop trackpad, and then that's the first thing I thought of was I was trying to play some game. I think it was like Diablo 2 or some shooter playing with the trackpad, and it was just awful. But it's actually a lot better than that.
It's a high resolution trackpad at its base, and it's also clickable. It's like an entire button as well, which is really cool. But there's already been some developers that have been using it that actually said it feels really nice. It's kind of like what are those mouses called?
The trackballs.
Trackballs, yeah. They said it kind of feels like that, but not really. It's more or less kind of like that, but you have more precision. They said you could probably aim a lot better with first-person shooters and play an actual RTS with a controller, which is amazing. They're basically, this is kind of like a controller hybrid keyboard and mouse kind of feel. That's what they're trying to go for, I guess. So
So the trackpads are like we said, they're a lot different than regular laptop trackpads that you might be used to. They actually have a haptic feedback in them. Now that's kind of hard to explain what that is. I think in my smartphone, and I don't know if other ones have it too. They kind of have it where you feel like a little vibration when you're typing on the on the keyboard on there. It's kind of like that, like you're using an actual analog stick instead of like a pad, is what people have been saying.
It's pretty neat, and it's going to make it feel more like a stick, but it's not a stick because it's a trackpad. It's just, I don't know. We need to get our hands on one of these controllers to actually feel what it's going to be. I'll put the descriptions in the video as well, but it also has a touch screen in the middle of the controller as well. And it's kind of weird, the layout of the controller. There's the two trackpads, and then the Y, B, X, and A buttons are along the sides of the square touchpad in the middle. And that's apparently where you're going to be controlling some of your stuff and tweaking different things. You can set it as a button. It's really cool. They're going to make sure you can utilize it. If I need to turn up the volume on the game, I could probably, since it's a hackable controller, you could set it up to turn up the volume by sliding your finger up or something. It kind of reminds me of the PlayStation 4 controller, but with an actual LCD or LED. I don't know what it's going to be, but there's going to be images and things to push on there, like as a normal button and a screen. So that's going to be really cool.
Yeah. What's really cool about that too is so that you don't have to look down at your controller whenever you're messing with it. Whenever you do something on that touch screen, it's going to have an overlay pop up on your screen. You're going to be able to, so you don't have to look down at your controller. And it kind of works like scrolling through little menus. So you'll kind of use that to do whatever kind of setup you have, and then you'll be able to actually click the button, to pick whatever you're trying to do with that little menu on the overlay.
It's really
cool stuff there.
Buttons on it, Chris.
So many buttons. 16 of them.
16 buttons on this controller.
Yeah. Um, it's pretty weird, kind of looking at it the way they had the button set up. Like, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the like the A, B, X, and Y buttons. It's really weird how they had that set up.
Like I said, they have those at the edges of the touch screen, and this is like, think of a square, and each corner there's a button that you would have, and then on the two trackpads, the first trackpads were the first analog stick would be on an Xbox controller. The second trackpad would be where the X, A, B, Y buttons would be. Those XBA, those buttons right there are actually on the side of the touchpad, so you can move your thumb over and press them. They're not really great for probably fighter games, but they're more or less wanting, because there's not many fighters on PC anyway. But there are some action games like Remember Me. You kind of have to do combos, and I think that might be a little annoying to use, but it's still, you could program some of the other buttons on the controller, since it's fully programmable, to do the back buttons or the shoulder buttons or whatever you want on it, so
you could even probably set it up on that right pad to kind of work like those normal face buttons that you would be used to on an Xbox controller,
right? Because
it is just crazy how much customizable you can make this thing.
Right, they're basically wanting to make it they built a legacy mode that allows the controller to present itself as a keyboard and mouse, technically. So you can, I'll put another picture up on our YouTube so people can see it. But or if you guys want to look on our Facebook or whatever, but they show a diagram of like a Portal 2 setup for a controller, and they have it set up pretty neat, like that you would be able to feel like you're actually playing it how you want to play it, and you can set it up you can set it up exactly how you want it to be instead of not setting it up. Like on a console game, usually those controls are there. You can't change them at all, Some of them you can change them. More or less PC games you can change them, but they're basically giving you the option to change whatever you want. Even with that touch screen, you can put more buttons on the touch screen,
Yeah.
So
aside from all that, there's the two shoulder buttons and then trigger button, or triggers like you would expect on a regular controller, and then it looks like there's two really long buttons like on the back where the rest of your fingers would go on the back of the handles, and all of these are completely moddable. You can do whatever you want to do with them.
Yep. We'll post the pictures. It's kind of hard to explain what this thing looks like, honestly. It's because it's something that you've never seen before. When everyone saw it on the internet, everyone's like flipping crap about like, what is that? What is that? They've never seen a controller without analog sticks besides pre Nintendo 64. Or actually, I think that's about it. But no one's seen like trackpads on a controller, but it's really, really, really interesting looking, and I'm excited about touching it. Ooh yeah, and and using it. It's going to be really cool. Now, if you don't want to use this controller, you don't have to. You can still use your Xbox controller still, or whatever other controller you want to use. So.
And all of this stuff right now, it could be completely different by the time the final product comes out. So
yeah, but I think more or less the controller's how it's going to be, honestly. So
and this, I think mainly what they've been saying is they want to bring the mouse and keyboard kind of feel to a controller. So yes, you can use it for whatever other games, your third person shooter adventure type games, but mainly it's for like for your strategy games like your StarCraft or your Civilizations, that kind of thing, where you wouldn't really be able to play it with a normal controller. They want to kind of bring that to a handheld controller.
And you can, strategy games never are able to use controllers half the time.
Yeah.
And you can map every button to this controller to play StarCraft 2, on it. It's really cool. And I'm excited to actually use the precise aiming with the touchpad for first-person shooters, because I always have an issue aiming on first-person shooters on consoles, because I'm a mouse and keyboard, so when I'm aiming precisely with the mouse, for the most part.
Yeah.
That is what they're trying to do, and they said that you'll get that feeling with it for the most part. So I'm excited. I'm
Yeah,
definitely very
I
excited
really
about this.
am curious to get my hands on this thing and really try it out.
I hope they bring the controller out soon. But like, as I said, if you get a prototype box that they're going to be sending out after October, it's not going to have the controller as it is what they're talking about with the touch screen in the middle.
Yeah,
It's going
instead
to
of a touch
have
screen, it's going to have some
four
buttons.
buttons.
Yeah,
Yeah, four buttons, and it's going to pretty much work how it's supposed to work, but it's not going to have all the extra features to it. So
I think it's also going to be a wired controller. It's not going to be
yep,
wireless.
yep, USB.
Yeah.
And the final product is supposed to be wireless. No clue if it's going to be Bluetooth or they're going to have another transmitter like Xbox 360 wireless controllers have on PC or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's like Bluetooth, honestly.
Yeah.
But a few devs have got their hands on it and have been talking about how it feels, and a lot of them have said some good things about it. The community as gamers have not been really nice about it. I'll say you guys are a bunch of assholes that need to not judge things before you even try them. It's the same mentality of, oh, it's new, I have to hate it, and
Yep.
that's what I'm seeing on the internet. A lot of Valve people, I've been looking on the community on the Valve forums and everything. A lot of people are all for it, and I think those are a lot of the people that want Steam in their living room, and they're excited to have some kind of new technology and a new controller or something. Because this thing is out of this world. It's different. It's very different, and I can't wait to see what they do with it, including the Steam machine and the SteamOS.
Yeah, some of the developers that were playing with it were Chris Remo from Double Fine. They worked on the Cave and all that. He said they didn't have like a special support for anything. They just plugged it in and it worked completely fine. And the mouse imitation on that right pad, they said he was really impressed with it. It doesn't feel like a trackpad like on a laptop, and it has like a speaker, like a tiny speaker that has like an audio feedback, like a tick, kind of like the old iPods that had that circle on it. You kind of hear like a little ticking.
Hey, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah.
For that, okay.
And then he just says it feels really precise and like a lot better than that laptop trackpad.
Didn't they talk about playing like Super Meat Boy on it? And they were playing it on the hardest level, and they were able to do it flawlessly. So
yeah, what was his name? I can't remember. One of the two guys from Team Meat.
Yeah.
He set it up, and he pretty much had it set up like a normal Xbox controller, and he said it works completely fine. And he actually had a big blog thing on it on his own thing.
Oh yeah, and then Kotaku posted it, and there was another site. Oh well, but yeah, there's developers getting their hands on this thing, and they're liking it. They said that you still need to get used to it. It's going to take getting used to. Every controller. I mean, I bought the Wii U Pro Pad, and that took getting used to. Honestly, you know, it's like a reverse PlayStation 3 controller. But this, they said you got to get used to it, but you can customize it how you want. So it's it's your custom controller, honestly, and I'm excited about that. Yeah, it doesn't have joysticks, but you may think that you need joysticks, but you might not need them.
And the way they're describing it, they're saying that the pads with the haptic feedback, it feels like you're using the analog sticks.
Yeah,
and I'm really interested to see how that actually works out.
And you don't have to use this, like they said. You don't have to use it. It's just going to be out there, and I think it's really cool to have different controllers out there. Like they're saying that the PS4 controller is going to be able to work on PC, so you can use a PS4 controller on PC now. The Xbox One controller, they said it's going to be on PC, but they haven't, gave any more details. You'll be able to use that. You can still use the Xbox 360 controller. If you want to use a Steam controller, you can use a Steam controller. So.
And if you're just that afraid of change, you can stick with your mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, they're just giving everyone options. And I don't think people are seeing that. I think people are being overly bitter about change, and they don't need to be, because there are some people like me and you, Chris, that like to use a controller, especially for like third-person games, third-person shooters, or third-person games, or driving games, or I like sticking to keyboard and mouse with my first person shooters, but this controller may change that for me, honestly. So
Yeah.
we'll see. As for everything else as a whole, for what Valve has announced, a lot of people are also a little upset that they've wasted their time because they didn't announce Half-Life 3. Please shut up. That game will come out soon enough, and I'm guessing it will come out alongside when these things go public. You know, the Steam boxes start rolling out, the different companies start making them. Now, as for prices, they don't have prices for anything, but there's like that Piston computer. I don't know what the company's name. They're trying to charge $1,000 for that thing. Steam said that's another reason why they're not really connected with them. But Steam said they wanted to keep it price friendly. So I'm thinking different companies are coming out with different boxes. They're going to come out with a Linux box that's maybe $100, $200, and maybe that does streaming only. There might be a $400 system that can play PC games and whatever. You know, you can maybe change out parts, add video cards. You know, you name it. There's no prices set, and we haven't found out the companies that are involved with this, but we'll find that out soon. I'm guessing after October, honestly.
I think that NVIDIA is one of the companies.
NVIDIA said they're, you know, pretty much all on this project, and I believe it because they came out with that Project Shield controller screen Android-based system, and I think their response of it was pretty good, but they didn't execute it as well. So they're trying different things, and this will definitely be really cool. Yeah. One thing I'll say before we end this discussion about the SteamOS, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to change over from Windows to that. It's an opportunity, especially from what Microsoft's up to. Microsoft's not been very gamer-friendly for PC gamers recently, especially for Windows 8. They're trying to be, but they're also trying to do their own thing. And I think that's what worried Valve, and gave, you know, basically said, hey, let's create our own OS, and hopefully devs and people will start switching over to it. And if they get this right, this could be awesome in the next 5 years. It's going to start out kind of like someone said this, I think it was on Polygon. They were doing like a live video of how they feel about the SteamOS and everything like that. I think one of the guys said, he said, it feels like this is Android in a sense, but it's going to be a lot better executed. When Android first came out, it was open source. It wasn't great. It needed to be worked, but now look at Android now. You know, just over the years of how long's Android been out? Like 5-6 years now?
Yeah,
I think 5
like
years.
That. I think around the way it came out.
But this is basically what they're doing. They're starting out with open source thing, and then they're going to be slowly pushing it. And they're not going to make you probably buy hardware upgrades as much, but adding that streaming capability will help out, especially if you already have a gaming PC. Yeah. But it's acting almost like how Android handled it. Now look at Android; they have an awesome OS. They really do, and I'll admit that. And I'm an Apple, iOS user. So Android has gone from nothing to something now. So I'm thinking that's what we're going to see in the next 5 years with Valve, and they're still sticking, hardcore to PC gaming. Of course, it's just they're wanting to give everybody an option. So
yeah.
Anything else you want to add to that, Chris?
No, I think we pretty much said everything there is to say about it for now. I mean, they only just announced this stuff this past week, so there's not a whole lot of information about it, but we'll be finding out more, as it goes on.
You guys that are listening, give us some feedback. Go on our Facebook or email us and, tell us what you think is SteamOS. And if you don't like it, tell us. I would like to know that. I want to know some reasons why some of the, fans or some of the people don't want to buy one. Even if you're a console gamer, are you interested in this? Let us know. So, just do that. Go on Facebook or YouTube or whatever you want. Next up, we got Alan's Tech Corner, so stay tuned.
Greetings! Master Control Program is urging you to solve on the game grid.
right, on today's Alan's Tech Corner, we got a topic I've been wanting to discuss for a while. We don't really have any tech news right now. I mean, we just did a bunch of tech news, honestly, with the SteamOS and everything like that. But views on how people use technology. Are we using it right? Are we more dependent on it? You know, like, I'm talking to the people that are only dependent on their phones, and that's all they base their life off of, or computers, and I'm guilty of a lot of this stuff too, honestly.
Yeah,
but
so am I.
are people too dependent on their phones or on technology? A lot of people, actually, the world's all based off of technology right now, and this podcast is a technology podcast, you know. But are we too dependent? Are we using our phones too much? Are we, you know, when we go out with our friends, are we popping on our phones and just texting and looking up information and not actually talking with them? Or, you know, I've seen this happen multiple times. And there's a game for dinner time. It's everyone put their phones in the middle of the table. I think we've talked about this before. Where if anybody picks up their phone from the dinner table, you have to buy everyone's dinner. But it's a silly game, but it just shows you that everyone's based off. I'm not just talking about phones. I'm talking about computers and everything else. Everyone's so focused on technology, and they're not doing anything else about it. They're Googling everything. They're not actually researching it. They're not learning. You know, it's being a problem today, and this podcast, we're trying to inform you about technology, but I wouldn't say abuse it, you know.
Yeah.
What are some things you've seen, Chris, in society today that has been kind of a no-no that we probably shouldn't be doing?
Yeah, kind of like you said, just, you know, being on your cell phones all the time, you know, like going out with friends and stuff, and everybody staring at their phones instead of having, you know, a conversation.
Right.
And wife's gonna yell at me about this, but I gotta yell at her all the time when we're trying to, you know, watch TV or something. She's on her phone instead of watching the show that we're watching. I'd be like, "Put your phone away. This is ridiculous."
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about. We're too dependent on that kind of stuff. Like, we're too dependent on Facebook and trying to, you know, do stuff. And I'm guilty of this too. Yeah. I'm not going to say I'm not guilty, but I try to break away from it and go experience life a little bit more than being a drone to using my phone all the time or whatever, you know. And I'm even this way with video games. Like, I get to a point where I'm like, I need to stop playing this because I need to go do something else, you know.
Well, see, now you're just being ridiculous. That's crazy talk.
But like I said, I'm not saying that I don't do this, but I think we need to actually start doing extra stuff that's not all based on technology. Learning extra information, reading a book every once in a while. And this is not me just being a hippie, you know. I think we're drones, man. I mean, everything. It's happening, and we've talked about how much we want to try Google Glass, and I'm still all for using that. But is that overdoing it?
I don't know. It comes to. It really depends on the person, I think.
Are we going to turn into Cybermen from Doctor Who?
Probably. Eventually. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. But it really just comes down to, depending on the situation. Is it appropriate to be, you know, on your phone looking at something, or should you be, you know, having a face-to-face conversation?
Right.
It's not always, you know, inappropriate, or is it appropriate? You know, nowadays we have, you know, everybody's got a computer in their pocket. You know, if there's something that you gotta figure out, hey, you know, we can Google that stuff. So it's not always gonna be, you know, hey, get off your phone, you're being rude. Sometimes it's necessary. You know, you got your GPS on your phone. Everybody's got one,
which is an awesome invention, honestly, for getting around. Before, when I was a kid, my parents would open up a gigantic map and it would take up the whole freaking car, man. And now you got a phone that can just, hey, go here, go here, go here. Unless you're Siri and direct you into an ocean or something.
Yeah.
Or Apple Maps. It's kind of like a double-edged sword. for some people, I guess.
Yeah.
There's some people that overly use technology and base everything off of, um, let's say, being Facebook dependent on your phone. We don't need to be that way. I think we need to experience life a little bit more. But then there's other things, like for me, I live in the middle of nowhere and I don't have many friends here, but I go on to like an MMO or something like that, or online game, and I'm able to, enjoy that with them. But I'm using technology correctly. But you can also do that too much too. Like we've been playing Final Fantasy 14, too much, but it's been worth it. Like I said, I'm not going to be a hypocrite saying you can't do that, but you got to watch what you're doing. Are we going to just evolve into something different, or are we going to keep on going with this? Or are we going to be too dependent on technology? Are we going to start augmenting our bodies, Deus? Or we've talked about all this stuff before. Some of it's been beneficial for health reasons, which, the guy with, a bionic arm, technically, the bionic eye helping us see, that's all health related,
Yeah.
But are we going to overdo that? Are people going to get into augmenting their bodies for the hell of it? Let's hope not. Hopefully.
Well, there's definitely going to be the people who do that as kind of like a status thing. Like, right now we got people who, they just upgrade their iPhones because the new one came out, and the one that they have is completely fine, but they got to have that new thing. And so there's always going to be those kinds of people. And, when the time comes that you have these, these robotic limbs and whatever, there's going to be people who just, they've got the money to throw around. They want that status. My
first problem that I ran into, and this is, how I'm all for Google Glass. A few months ago, I was in Salt Lake City, and me and my buddy are walking back to our hotels from, I think we were at Warped Tour, and there's this guy walking down the street, and he was talking, and he had a contraption on his face, and it was Google Glass. It was that prototype. But he made it a point to tell us, he was like, "What are you staring at? Yeah, look at me, I got Google Glass," and that's when I started to be like, wow, that guy was a douchebag,
And that's not going to go away anytime soon. There's always going to be those kinds of people.
And or if we attach Google Glass to our IR, are we going to lose something from that? Or are we going to be constantly glued? This is my doubts on Google Glass now, actually. But I may still get it. It's only because I love technology. But we're going to see a change in how people act, just like we see when the smartphones came out. Before it was like flip phones, right? All you did is make calls and text message every once in a while, right?
Yep.
Now it's gotten to the point where we got a little personal computer, and Google Glass is kind of the same thing, where we're going to have this on our face, and we're going to be talking to ourselves and surfing, and while people are hanging out, we're going to be doing that stuff. We're going to be at a dinner table with Google Glass, and this could actually go back a few episodes ago. We were talking about like what you can't do with Google Glass, and now I'm seeing the reasons behind some of those companies saying, "Hey, we don't want Google Glass in our establishments," that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not only just talking about that; it's talking about other stuff. Even the future of stuff. The Oculus Rift, I want that a lot. But are people going to get so wrapped into it that they lose touch of real life and stop going to work? And of course, this is all going to happen.
Yes, guaranteed. Guaranteed somebody's going to lose themselves in that.
There's no way around it, but you can prevent that not by listening to us, by listening to yourselves and saying what's right and what's not. Stay off your phone at dinner time. Stay off your phone when you're watching a TV show with your spouse. I'm sorry, Amy. But I mean, I'm guilty of this too. Sometimes when I'm watching a TV show, I'll be text messaging or something like that, and I probably shouldn't, And yeah. Chris, you've probably done it too. So,
oh yeah, definitely. It's I think it's harder for people like me and you. We have ADHD, and so we constantly got to be, doing something. And so if we're just kind of sitting around for a minute, hey, I'm bored. I got to look at something. We need that instant gratification of.
But I've toned it down recently, and that's kind of wanted to bring up this discussion. And I am mostly focusing on the phones issue, because that is the major problem with today's society. But we're also dependent too much on technology sometimes. But it's not a bad thing. It can be really good sometimes. Like searching for, hey, what's the name of that band? Oh man, let me look it up real quick. That's awesome. I love having that feature when we didn't have that before.
All things in moderation. That's basically
There we
the
go.
bottom line.
It's crazy to bring this into a tech podcast, and it's just something I've wanted to talk about because I think we overdo it sometimes, all of us, even myself. So,
Yeah.
But hey, we're human. I'm guessing in the next 10 years we're gonna have we'll be Borg or something. No, I hope that humanity will not. I think we'll always incorporate technology because that's the way it's going to be. Everything wants to be futuristic. That's why we have tablets. Star Trek had tablets on their show before tablets even existed.
Yeah.
And now everyone has one. And when Google Glass comes out, there's going to be that first model, and then eventually we're going to be replacing our eyes with cyborg stuff. No. That's pretty much all I wanted to add to it. Next show, we'll have a better Alan's Tech Corner, definitely. All right, Chris. So, what are you doing after this show has been posted and stuff?
Well, like I said, I'm hoping to finish Grand Theft Auto 5 this weekend and get back into Final Fantasy because when are they supposed to be doing that crossover deal with 13? Was that supposed to be pretty soon, or?
I don't know. They didn't give it a date. They gave a trailer for it, which looked kind of cool. I just want the outfits, honestly. That's it.
Yeah.
Vanity.
Yeah. I'm really wanting to, get really back into playing that hardcore again because, you're already at max level and I'm still playing catch up. I want to get in those end game raids and stuff.
Yeah, you need to get past 30 something. What level are you? 35?
I think I'm like 30 or 31. I just got my my Bard class unlocked, so that's what I'm working on.
Okay, well, you need to hurry up so you can fight Titan.
Yeah, that's coming up pretty soon.
Yep.
And I need to do that before my subscription runs out, but I'm going to probably be renewing it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm probably going to renew it for 6 months. I'm going to be moving a few months, but I want to play it whenever, I guess.
Yeah, and I just bought the Kingdom Hearts HD collection.
Oh, you bought that?
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to come in the mail though. We got it on Target because they didn't have it in the store. They had to get it online. I'm waiting for that to come in, and probably gonna be playing a little bit of that.
I bought that. I bought it with GTA 5. I kind of bought it for my wife and my daughter to play. Of course, my daughter's a little too young to play, but she likes Mickey Mouse and all the Disney stuff, so I figured, playing that with her, she might enjoy it.
My wife really needs to play it. I'm surprised that she hasn't, because she's Disney obsessed, and so
it was a good game. I really wish they'd bring out Kingdom Hearts 2 though, because that was my favorite, honestly.
That's probably going to be the next little collection.
Let's hope so. I am going to. I have some shocking news for you, Chris. I watched a show about making meth, and I liked it.
Really?
Breaking Bad.
A little bit late. It's ending tomorrow. They're doing the last episode.
Yeah, it's fine though. That's how I would have it, honestly, because I hate watching a show and then all of a sudden it's, I have to wait a year before I can watch the next episode.
Yeah, it has.
So I watched the first. I've watched the first episode and I really enjoyed it. And a lot of people told me it's like Dexter, and I hate Dexter. I really hate that show. And I know you'll be like, why? I've already told you my reasons.
Now I'm right along with you on that one. They just had the last episode of that last weekend, and it was probably the worst possible way they could have ended it.
And
so.
I stopped watching it. I didn't care, but people kept on saying Breaking Bad's like Dexter, and I'm like, I don't want to watch it then. And
no,
the first episode,
a really bad comparison.
And the first episode I watched was nothing like Dexter. It was out of this world. I was like, what is going on?
I think the only way that you could kind of tie it to Dexter is there are some situations in the show where you're like, how is he gonna get away from this? And then something happens at the last possible moment, and then it turns everything around, and he's able to escape.
That's every season, though.
Yeah, but looking at the entire show, the way it's written, and how everything kind of ties into each other is just
It's
really
cool.
great.
I like
It's
it.
cool.
So I'm gonna watch that. Probably by myself. My wife's not really interested in watching it. She's watching like Supernatural. I'm also gonna play Final Fantasy 14. I got a lot of stuff to do. I got to finish up my storyline. I'm working on crafting, and I'm still playing GTA every once in a while. I beat it, but I still got a couple things I want to do with it. And then online is coming out, I think October 5th or something. So
I think it's on the 1st.
The 1st?
On
Really?
Tuesday, yeah.
Okay, so I'll be playing some GTA Online, and I'm sure we both will, and we'll be robbing people.
Yeah.
And not really robbing, but on the game. Don't arrest me. Now, so I got a lot of crime to do and crime shows to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna be, in between gaming, getting stuff set up for this baby and getting ready. We're setting up my former office. It's the baby's room now. We got the crib and everything set up. I'm gonna be hanging some things up on the wall today, probably, and building more furniture over the next couple weeks.
Well, cool, man.
So
that's a little bit about our lives.
Yeah, we're gonna be trying to do these things every week, but I'm probably not gonna be making it for every single one. So we're gonna try to have some guests, guest hosts every once in a while.
I'm gonna be trying to do it every week. So it's if Chris can't make it, I'm gonna have somebody fill in. And later down the line, it might just be me talking for 20 minutes. I hope not. But I will try to get a podcast out for you guys to let you know the latest news, what we've been doing, the latest games we've been playing, and the latest tech news, of course. Well, that's the end of our show. I got some shout outs to do. First World Podcast. We love you. You're a great podcast, and I'm glad we've all met you for the most part online. Also, Emerald Coast Productions. You can follow me at mbufftes for Twitter, that we never use.
Kind of use it again sometimes. But
So-
anyway, I'm at CStewTES.
Yep.
You can follow me.
Like us on Facebook. Most of our information goes to Facebook. I want to be. You just like it. Do it. We need more likes. iTunes, subscribe to us. YouTube, we're also going to have some cool videos, so make sure you subscribe to that. Our Steam group is currently locked because there were some spammers on there. So if you need to want to join it, email us or Facebook us or whatever. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.